Hello everyone. So this is the discussion of AIPMT-II for Geography and Environment section that I will be covering. So you may have given the AIPMT-I also and now this AIPMT-II. So you may have found the questions very relevant to UPSC examination that we are framing, and you can share your experience with your friends and ask them to join this All India Prelims test series, and they can get the rank, All India rank also, and it will help them for preparation of UPSC Prelims 2025. Without any delay, let's start with the geography section. In previous part, we have dealt with the geography questions from let's say places in news or the concept based questions like statement 1, statement 2, assumption reason type of questions. So here also we have tried to continue the trend, but with different parts of your syllabus or subject we have tried to cover. Let's solve the first MCQ. पहला MCQ क्या है? ठीक है, तो it is asking about the frequency and intensity of tropical cyclones as a comparison between Bay of Bengal and we can say Arabian Sea. Yes, so Bay of Bengal experiences higher frequency of tropical cyclones as compared to Arabian Sea. Yes, that is true. We know about this. We learn about these aspects in mains examination also, because in mains question can be asked like this: why more number of cyclones are observed in Bay of Bengal as compared to Arabian Sea? In general, if we see that total 5 cyclones, if they are let's say generated in Indian Ocean region, then 4 among them are let's say originating in Bay of Bengal and 1 in Arabian Sea. This is the standard ratio. So first statement is correct based on this fact. Now tropical cyclones in Arabian Sea are generally more intense than in Bay of Bengal. Now we know that Bay of Bengal is enclosed sea and it experiences warmer temperatures, sea surface temperature as compared to Arabian Sea, and that's why we can say that Arabian Sea is experiencing more intense Bay of Bengal experiences more intense tropical cyclones as compared to Arabian Sea. So this statement becomes incorrect. Now, both pre-monsoon and post-monsoon seasons witness the occurrence of tropical cyclones in India. That is correct. We can say Indian Ocean is, let's say, or Indian Peninsula is very, let's say, uniquely located in the Indian Ocean region, and because of that, it experiences the tropical cyclones in both pre-monsoon and post-monsoon seasons. Especially the 2 seasons fall in the time period of April to May. April-May. Or we can say March, April, May, and then after monsoon also like September, October, November. At present we can see that the monsoon, post-monsoon tropical cyclone period is going on, especially in Bay of Bengal. So this one is correct. So first and third is correct. So what should be the answer here? 1 and 3 only. So B is the correct answer, right? Now second question. Yes, circumpolar cold current around Antarctic, जैसे west wind drift जिसको बोलते हैं, is an example of zonal current. Now what is zonal current? Ocean current का ही type हम बोल सकते हैं. Zonal current is that current which is not formed because of temperature gradient, rather it is formed at a particular location and it is not moving in a latitude wise. For example, north equatorial current and south equatorial current. So they are zonal current. Why? Because they are formed along the equator in all the oceans, be it Antarctic, we can say Atlantic or Indian Ocean region or even Pacific. The same manner in the polar region around the Antarctic continent, we experience such kind of zonal current that is called as west wind drift. Okay? There is lack of thermal gradient in that region. So that is correct. Thermal gradient nahi hota hai significant, so that the ocean current starts flowing from the, let's say, the polar region to the tropical region. So that's why this is correct explanation also. So that's why answer becomes A. Statement 2 is correct explanation of statement 1. Okay, now next question. Regarding Indo-Gangetic plains and Oxbow lakes, the southward shifting of Ganga river has left Oxbow lakes to the north of its present course. This is correct. In general, if you see, the slope of North Indian plains is from north to south, and these rivers have tendency to change the course. We know about that, meandering of river, and severe meandering result into formation of Oxbow lakes. These Oxbow lakes are largely formed to the north of present courses of these rivers. जैसे last year there was first question in prelims, Kanwar Lake. It was Oxbow Lake formed by Buri Gandak river. So north में है वो river के. So Ganga river also forms such oxbow lakes to the north of its present course because it is shifting more and more to the south. So this one is correct. Oxbow lakes in Indo-Gangetic plains are formed primarily due to glacial activity. Now easily one can remove this. Glacial activity nahi, fluvial activity. Fluvial means river. Okay, so what is happening? There is severe meandering happening, and because of that, what happens is lateral erosion is more active, and that leads to undercutting, and finally the Oxbow lake is cut off from its course. So we can say this is how Oxbow lakes are formed through fluvial activities. These Oxbow lakes provide evidence of historical changes in the river's courses. Just now I told you that the meandering of the rivers and the frequent changes in the courses of river over the period of time, this has been the prominent characteristics of Himalayan rivers, we can say that. And the presence of Oxbow lakes is evidence of such changes in the courses. So 1 and 3 or 2 statements are correct, only 2. So we can say that B is the correct answer. Okay. Next question, match the following. So let's say these are the standard questions. Every year UPSC will ask, जैसे इस साल उन्होंने क्या पूछा था, match the following में they have asked waterfalls. ठीक है, तो जैसे peaks पूछ सकता है, mountain passes पूछ सकता है, कोई भी चीज पूछ सकता है वो लोकेशन के लिए. Static part of mapping. Mahendragiri, yes, they are located in Eastern Ghats, Odisha. Now, Doda Betta Peak, not Zavdi Hills. Zavdi Hills are part of, we can say, Eastern Ghats. Doda Betta Peak is the second highest peak in the Western Ghats, located in Nilgiri Hills. कहाँ पे located है ये? Nilgiri Hills. Now, Anaimudi is the highest peak in the Western Ghats, and it is not located in Nilgiri Hills. It is located in Anaimalai Hills. Anaimalai Hills are south of Nilgiri Hills, at the end of, we can say that, Western Ghats, southern end. So this is incorrectly matched. Dhupgarh, yes, it is located in Mahadev Hills of Satpura range, we can say, in Madhya Pradesh, जहाँ पर Panchmari located है. ठीक है, तो 1 and 4 are correctly matched. मतलब यहाँ पे only 2 pairs are correctly matched, and that's why answer will be B. Okay, next, again concept based question, oceanography. Continental shelves are almost absent or very narrow along the coast of Chile. Yes, that is true. Andes mountain range is located, and what is there? There is convergent plate boundary. So that means Pacific plate is submerging under the South American plate boundary, and because of that, what is happening is there is crustal breaking, or we can say that upthrust has happened, and there we see that the width of the continental shelf is very narrow. As we move away from such coastal mountain ranges, the continental shelf, we can say that width is increasing. If we see Arctic Sea, ठीक है, तो आर्कटिक सी के यहाँ पर जो कॉन्टिनेंटल शेल्फ साइबेरिया का है, तो वहां पर हम देख सकते हैं कि जो कॉन्टिनेंटल शेल्फ है, इट्स विड्थ इज अराउंड 1500 किलोमीटर. सो दिस इज करेक्ट, बट वेदर द सेकंड रीजन स्टेटमेंट इज प्रोवाइडिंग द करेक्ट रीजन. The rate of erosion due to sea waves is enormous along the coast of Chile. Now this is incorrect. It's not the reason also. ठीक है, statement is also incorrect and it is not the reason also. So that's why second statement is incorrect. तो आंसर क्या होना चाहिए? C is the correct answer. C is the correct answer. All right. Next question. Kudo millets was in news. ठीक है, ये करंट अफेयर्स बेस्ड क्वेश्चन है, हम बोल सकते हैं ज्योग्राफी से. क्रॉप बेस्ड क्वेश्चंस दे आर आस्किंग एवरी ईयर, वन क्वेश्चन ऑन क्रॉप्स, राइट. कुडो मिलेट्स, व्हाई इट वाज इन न्यूज? बिकॉज इन मध्य प्रदेश, इन वन ऑफ द टाइगर रिजर्व, कौन सा? बांधवगढ़ टाइगर रिजर्व. बांधवगढ़ टाइगर रिजर्व, रिसेंटली देयर वाज डेथ ऑफ 10 elephants, probably because of ingestion of, we can say, kudo millets, and it may have resulted into poisoning. Why poisoning? Because this cyclopyrazonic acid is one of the major mycotoxin produced by these kudo millets, causing kudo poisoning. ठीक है, तो इस तरीके से हमें पता होना चाहिए कि क्यों न्यूज में है. Now, yes, it is tropical and subtropical crop, we can say. Now, it is endemic to India. We are changing this. Actually, it is not endemic word. Endemic is something where it is exclusively found. जैसे हम बोलते हैं ना कोई एक स्पेसीज एंडेमिक है, जैसे हम बोलते हैं लायन टेल्ड मैकाक्स आर एंडेमिक टू, वी कैन से दैट वेस्टर्न घाट्स, right? Nilgiri Biosphere Reserve especially we can say that, or we can say that the present population of the Asiatic lions is endemic to Gir forest, तो वो endemic हो गया है. But this particular crop has originated from India and the Madhya Pradesh is the leading producer of this Kudo millet, बोल सकते हैं हम, but it is produced are grown, cultivated in other countries like we can say Pakistan or some of the Southeast Asian countries as well as Western Africa. So we will say that it is native to, ऐसे होना चाहिए था, ठीक है, we will change this. So that will make this statement we can say correct. First one is also correct. All three statements are correct here. So C is the correct answer. C is the correct answer. All right. Now, most of the metallic minerals in India occur in the peninsular plateau. Yes, that is true. Metallic minerals, they are absent, almost absent or very minor, let's say, sources are, reserves are there in Himalayan region. ठीक है, तो yes, that is true. Now, peninsular Indian region is mostly made up of old crystalline rocks. Now, that is also true, and the reason also why we are saying like this, because the Indian peninsula has gone through several geological activity when the Himalayas were being formed, and there was crustal faulting also when Vindhyas and Satpuras were being formed. So because of that, there is continuous metamorphism of sedimentary and igneous rocks has happened, and there was formation of important metallic mineral ores that is found. For example, the present day we can say location of Chota Nagpur plateau. ठीक है, तो दोनों सही है और second statement is correct explanation of statement 1. So we can say A is the correct answer. A is the correct answer. Next, which of the following region is associated with absence of surface winds and is known as doldrums? So very basic simple NCERT based question. Doldrums कहाँ पर होता है? 5 degree north, 5 degree south. That is the region between, we can say 5 degree north, 5 degree south, near the equator. So equatorial low pressure belt, there we experience the zone of calm, that is called as doldrums. C is the correct answer. What is actually happening there? The trade winds from the subtropical high region are basically gushing in towards this low pressure belt, but when they reach towards this equatorial low pressure belt, before that only they are getting heated from the bottom because of severe heat, and they are moving up. So they are not reaching at the equator as such. So at equator we see zone of calm. So there the surface winds are very feeble winds. So C is the correct answer. Okay, C is the correct answer. Now what about the fourth one? Again match the following, and this is now related to economic geography, although it is mapping part. Yes, the steel plants and the rivers providing water to these plants. It is NCERT based, 12th standard NCERT. Tata Iron and Steel Plant कहाँ पर है? ठीक है, जमशेदपुर झारखंड. तो वहां पर कौन से रिवर्स है? Whether there is Koel or Sank river? No, there is Subarna Rekha and Kharkai rivers are meeting each other, and there this plant is located. These rivers are providing, let's say, water to this plant. So this is incorrectly matched. Indian Iron and Steel Company. This company or this plant is located in West Bengal, where Barakar river, this is tributary of Damodar river, is providing water. This is correctly matched. Vishveshwaraya Iron and Steel Works. This is located in Karnataka. ठीक है, Karnataka, where Bhadravati river is providing water supply. This is correct. What about Rourkela Steel Plant? It is located in Odisha, and here the waters are provided by Koel and Sank river. ठीक है, so this is incorrectly matched. So only two pairs are correctly matched here. So we can say that B is the correct answer. B is the correct answer. All right. Now, yes, regarding the tribal population in India, Thadas are the largest tribal groups located in state of Manipur. So Manipur is in news because of the violence that has been happening in last 1 year, the unrest, and we can say that the conflict among the communities, Meiteis and Kukis. So that's why it is in news. Thadas are basically the largest tribal group of Kukis, Kuki community. ठीक है, so this is correct, we can say. Santals are the largest scheduled tribe community in India. Now this is incorrect. Third largest. The largest are Gonds, second largest are Bhils, and then the third largest are Santals in India. Yes, Chenchu tribe is PVTG tribe in India. This is correct, we can say Chenchu tribe in Telangana, Andhra Pradesh. So these tribes are very unique, and we can say that they are associated with they are living in the let's say tiger reserves in we can say Telangana. बार बार news में भी होता है ये, ठीक है. They have let's say peaceful life in living in association with tiger habitat, ठीक है. तो third statement is correct, we can say. So first and third is correct, second is incorrect. तो यहाँ पर फिर से दो statement सही है, B is the correct answer, only two. Next, Valencia region was in news recently due to devastating floods. Located in which of the following countries? Recently floods happened in Spain. ठीक है, कहाँ पर floods हुए हैं? स्पेन में हुए हैं. Basically there are local storms originating in Mediterranean Sea at this time of the year, but this year there was excess rainfall by the storm called as Dana, and this storm is basically has become more intense, probably attributed reason is climate change and global warming. So A is the correct answer, ठीक है. तो ऐसे आपको places in news जरूर पूछ सकते हैं. Again the static part mapping, yes, wetlands in news and the states. Yes, Hokersar wetland, it is one of the 5 wetlands of Jammu and Kashmir. Okay, sir. Jammu and Kashmir. Sirpur wetland, not in Jammu and Kashmir, it is located in MP. Tawa reservoir, yes, it is located in MP. Kazuveli bird sanctuary, again not in Karnataka, it is located in Tamil Nadu. So only one pair is correctly matched. A is the correct answer. At present now we have 85 total Ramsar sites. ठीक है, हमारा टास्क और बढ़ गया है. सो 85 को रिवाइज करना थोड़ा सा मुश्किल है, बट रिसेंट लास्ट 1 और 2 ईयर्स में जितने भी अनाउंस किए गए हैं वो ज्यादा प्रोबेबल टॉपिक है आपको प्रीलिम्स के लिए. ओके, नाउ which one of the following countries is not part of Horn of Africa? Again static part, we can say that Horn of Africa. So Horn of Africa is in news because of, let's say, piracy, Somalia, or you can say the drought conditions. Recently it was also in news because of the floods that had happened, excess rainfall. ठीक है, तो कौन से कंट्रीज है यहाँ पर? 4 कंट्रीज है. सोमालिया, जिजुबाउती, केनिया नहीं है, इथियोपिया एंड एरिट्रिया. सो नॉट पूछा हुआ है, तो आंसर क्या हो गया? सी इज द आंसर. ऑलराइट. Then Katanga region, places in news, yes, famous for its copper resources, is located in which of the following countries? ठीक है, तो copper is important. India imports copper on larger scale, especially we are exploring let's say the reserves from African countries, and this region is in Democratic Republic of Congo. B is the correct answer. Last to last year prelims 2023, if you see there was question on cobalt reserves. More than 70% of reserves are located in DRC, Democratic Republic of Congo. Cobalt, critical mineral, important for EVs, battery storage. Katanga region, it is basically the in Swathini जो local language है वहाँ पे, तो कटंगा मतलब कॉपर से ही linked है, तो इसलिए ये न्यूज में भी था recently, और B is the correct answer, Democratic Republic of Congo. Okay, last question for geography. Yes. Consider the following statements about Mega International Container Transshipment Port, ICTP of India. Yes, so it was in news. Why? Because it has been notified as 13th major port of India recently. That is true. Where it is located? It is located in Galathea Bay of Great Nicobar Island. Great Nicobar Island, Andaman and Nicobar. ठीक है, तो गलाथिया बे इज वी कैन से नेशनल पार्क. इट इज पार्ट ऑफ वी कैन से ग्रेट निकोबार बायोस्फीयर रिजर्व आल्सो. इट वाज इन न्यूज because let's say environmentalists are concerned about the loss of biodiversity because of this infrastructure project is there. तो ये आपको न्यूज में है, लक्षद्वीप आइलैंड नहीं है ये. ठीक है, तो फर्स्ट स्टेटमेंट 1 ओनली इज द करेक्ट आंसर. ठीक है, तो ये ज्योग्राफी के क्वेश्चन हो गए. देन वी कैन स्विच टू वी कैन से एनवायरमेंट सेक्शन. Yes, so environment section. So in environment also we have kept this section as a dynamic section. The way UPSC is asking questions, be it species based question, the unique characteristics of different species, and along with that the environmental law based questions or the questions on protected areas. So we are keeping the different dimensions open, because UPSC is focusing on different dimensions of this environment section, not focusing on only one dimension. ठीक है, तो variety of questions they are asking. So let's discuss these questions one by one. पहला question देखिए, जैसे unique characteristic of particular species. Female belonging to which of the following organisms is known for its profound use of corals, rocks and shells, discarded bottles as hammers or anvils to kill its prey, and then then feed on it with ease. Now this is unique characteristics. No, it is using as a tool. ठीक है, तो जैसे एक बार क्वेश्चन आया था कि which of the following organism uses the stick as a tool to remove the ants from its, ठीक है, बेसिकली इट वाज ओरंगटून. ठीक है, तो वो उस साल में हमें नहीं पता था, उसी साल से एक्चुअली देयर वाज न्यू कॉन्शियसनेस among the students generated because of such kind of question, unique characteristics. So which species are having these characteristics? Sea otters, especially female species of sea otters, they have developed this unique kind of habits, characteristics. So B is the correct answer. Even some of the fish species like wrasse, recently found in Lakshadweep, they are using such kind of, let's say, tools to kill their prey. ठीक है. Now environmental law. Yes, as per the Biodiversity Act 2002, the functions of National Biodiversity Authority, yes, it is statutory body. This act provides 3-tier structure, institutional setup, we can say. At national level we have NBA, at state level State Biodiversity Authority, and at local level we have Biodiversity Management Committees at local level, right? So about NBA, to maintain and update the traditional knowledge regarding biological resources in people's biodiversity register. Now this is not the task of NBA, rather it is task of BMCs, Biodiversity Management Committees at local level. So this is incorrect. To advise state government on the selection of areas of biodiversity importance to be notified as heritage site, biodiversity heritage site. This is correct, we can say, second. So 2 only is the correct answer. So there can be question, already this has been asked in mains examination, NBA and its functions. तो prelims में जरूर आ सकता है. Now consider the following statements regarding Global Energy Alliance for People and Planet. It is related to energy and it is an alliance. ठीक है. It was launched during 24th World Leaders Climate Summit under aegis of UNFCCC. Now this is incorrect. ठीक है. So this was launched during COP21 Glasgow Summit of UNFCCC, Glasgow, UK. So this is incorrect. It is purely an intergovernmental network seeking just transition to clean. It is not intergovernmental, rather it is an alliance of government, non-governmental agencies, private institutions and philanthropic, let's say, institutions. So this is incorrect. Now Battery Energy Storage Systems Consortium is an initiative of this particular body. This is correct, we can say, and in 2023 we have joined this particular consortium, India. So that's why it was in news also. So we can expect such kind of questions in prelims examination. First incorrect, second incorrect, battery storage, this one is correct. So only one statement is correct here. A is the correct answer. A is the correct answer. ठीक है. Next question regarding phosphorus, phosphorus cycle, nitrogen cycle, sulfur cycle, and we can say carbon cycle, basic ecology. Phosphorus is limiting factor in terrestrial environment. This is correct, we can say. Why? Because phosphorus is not abundantly available, readily used by the plants and in general animals also, we can say. So limiting factor hai. Phosphorus cycle does not involve gaseous component. This is also true, we can say. It is basically sedimentary cycle, or we can say that largely it flows from, we can say, solid and liquid, that is through water, not gaseous form. So we can say this is correct. Now some birds excrete guano deposits which naturally contain phosphorus. This is correct. ठीक है. Guano excreta or deposits, they are very important. They improve the fertility of soil by adding phosphorus. If you see the Peru, ठीक है, तो वहाँ पर naturally ये guana deposits होता है. Guanas basically deposits are, for example, seabirds. Their droppings, they are called guana deposits. We can say they are rich in phosphorus. All three statements are correct here. C is the correct answer. C is the correct answer. Next. Regarding India's status in biodiversity, India is the only country in the world where rhinos with single horn are naturally found. Single horn rhino, It is not exclusive to India. It is found in, we can say that, Nepal also. Naturally, it is found in Nepal also, Tarai region. Nepal में भी थोड़ा सा है, ठीक है? So this is incorrect. India is the only country in the world to have native population of both tigers and lions. This is correct, we can say. ठीक है? तो native population same country में दोनों है. So that is true. 2 only is the correct answer. 2 only is the correct answer. Now, teal carbon. What is teal carbon? It is the carbon sequestrated and stored in inland freshwater wetlands. Very important. Inland freshwater wetlands. Wetlands are important carbon sinks. So whatever the vegetation growth that happens there, it helps in sequestration of carbon. So that is called as teal carbon. Remember this. Okay? Inland freshwater wetland. Term based questions can be asked in ecology and environment. Why is the government of India so skeptical about increasing plantations of eucalyptus in some parts of our country? Eucalyptus जो नीलगिरी का पेड़ होता है, ठीक है, बहुत बड़ा पेड़ होता है. Yes, we are concerned about that. Why? Because it excessively uses the groundwater, and groundwater is falling down, especially found in Punjab, Haryana and North Indian plains. It can worsen the crisis, water crisis. This is correct. Now, yes, it releases allelopathic chemicals that are toxic to nearby plants. This is also one of the problem, right? It accelerates natural pace of soil erosion in the region where it grows. Now, this is incorrect. Rather, it is planted as a shelter belt, or we can say that overall to reduce the soil erosion in the regions. So, this is incorrect. Only 2 and 3 is the correct answer here. Okay, only 2 and 3 is the correct answer. C is the correct answer. Regarding, yes, in the context of which of the following do some scientists suggest the spraying of diamond dust into the atmosphere? Yes, it is one of the geoengineering technique. किससे related होता है? Geoengineering techniques. They are related to reducing global warming and climate change. So, arresting the pace of global warming on the earth, related to that. So, diamond dust, if it is, let's say, spread in the space, so there will be more reflection of incoming solar radiation back into the space without allowing it to reach to the earth's surface, so that there can be overall reduced insolation and cooling of earth's surface or earth's atmosphere. So, D is the correct answer. ठीक है, तो geoengineering techniques. Like, regarding solar waste management in India, we have to find the correct statement. While India ramps up its solar power installation, it does not yet have firm policy on managing the waste that result from used solar panels or manufacturing process. Now, this is incorrect. No, e-waste management rules. Notified under Environment Protection Act. ठीक है, ये rules 2022 के हैं. They provide specifically that whatever the waste generated from the solar panels or their manufacturing process is to be, let's say, managed under the rules, e-waste rules 2022. So this is incorrect. Improper solar waste management emits sulfur dioxide, hydrogen fluoride, hydrogen cyanide into the atmosphere. That is very harmful. This one is correct. 2 only is the correct statement. Okay? B is the correct answer. All right, moving on. Regarding green ammonia, so in 2023, there were 2 questions on green hydrogen. Green ammonia is also gathering, let's say, pace in terms of clean technology in India. Green ammonia is completely carbon neutral. Now, this is major question here. Whether it is completely carbon neutral, that means production of green ammonia does not involve emission of any kind of, we can say that, CO2 as a greenhouse gas. So, ऐसा नहीं है. Rather, the reduced emissions are there comparatively, but it is not completely carbon neutral. The production of green ammonia does not depend on natural gas as a raw material. This one is correct. Rather, it depends on green hydrogen, which is, we can say that, produced from electrolysis process, renewable energy. So, we can say this one is correct. Statement 1 is incorrect. Statement 2 is correct. So, we can say that D is the correct answer about this. Green ammonia. Now, this is very unique property of species, kleptoparasite species. What do you mean by that? Kleptoparasite species are basically, they steal food from other species. They steal, kleptomaniac, सुना होगा आपने, कोई मूवी भी कैरेक्टर होता है तो चोरी करना उसकी आदत होती है. ठीक है, तो क्लिप्टोमेनियाक बोलते हैं ना उसको. सो व्हाट इज दैट? क्लिप्टोपैरासाइटिक स्पीसीज. तो विच आर द स्पीसीज? हाइनास तो हमने देखा है, हमेशा जब भी डिस्कवरी चैनल खोलते हैं तो हाइनास आर बेसिकली रोमिंग अराउंड द the prey, we can say already hunted down by any we can say that carnivores, जैसे हम बोलते हैं चीता है या फिर lions है, they hunt down and but somewhere these hyenas are stealing the food. Yes, spiders are also stealing the we can say that the food from the other spiders. Birds, some of the birds, especially eagles, they are let's say kleptoparasitic birds. Bears are also known to steal the food from the other hunters. But cheetahs, they are basically, they do not steal, they hunt down their prey directly. ठीक है, rather they are victims of these parasites. cheetah hunt down, but उसके बाद फिर hyenas, lions अटैक करके उसका फूड छीन लेते हैं. ठीक है, सो वी कैन से 1 2 3 4, ओनली 4 इज द करेक्ट आंसर. ओनली 4. थोड़ा सा जीके चाहिए ऐसे क्वेश्चन में, और आप स्किप कर सकते हैं क्योंकि आपको टर्म भी पता नहीं होगी शायद. अकॉर्डिंग टू यूनाइटेड नेशन ग्लोबल नाइट्रस ऑक्साइड असेसमेंट रिपोर्ट, विच वन ऑफ द फॉलोइंग इज द लार्जेस्ट सोर्स ऑफ नाइट्रस ऑक्साइड? देखिए, आपको रिपोर्ट के बारे में जानने की जरूरत नहीं है ये क्वेश्चन आंसर करने के लिए. रादर इन जनरल यू नो दैट the majority of this nitrous oxide emissions are happening that is from agriculture. ठीक है, तो कहाँ से हो रहा है वो? एग्रीकल्चर से हो रहा है. और we can say that the kind of fertilizers that we are applying in the agriculture, और उससे रिलीज हो रहा है ये नाइट्रस ऑक्साइड, and that is the major source, we can say that is the major source. So D is the correct answer here. Now in the context of Periyar Tiger Reserve, yes, Mulla Periyar Dam is located within this tiger reserve. This is correct. Mulla and Periyar, two different rivers are there. At the confluence of that, Mulla Periyar Dam is located. ये न्यूज में भी रहता है हमेशा, right? It is known to host. It is located in Kerala, right? Yes, Mulla Periyar or Periyar Tiger Reserve. It is known to host endangered species such as Nilgiri tar, lion-tailed macaque. This is also habitat of lion-tailed macaque. This is correct. It is part of Agastyamalai Biosphere Reserve. Now this is incorrect. Agastyamalai Biosphere is to the south along the border of Kerala and Tamil Nadu. ठीक है, Biosphere Reserve जो है, it is also part of World Network of Biosphere Reserve of UNESCO. ठीक है, तो this is incorrect. First two are correct. Only two we can say that is the correct answer. Right? Only two. B is the correct answer. Then regarding protected planet report, which of the following institutions together release protected planet report? Yes, protected planet है तो कहीं ना कहीं IUCN आप लॉजिक लगा सकते हो, but UNEP is also involved here. ठीक है, so United Nations Environment Program and IUCN together release this protected planet report. C is the correct answer. Report based, indices based questions environment में जरूर आ सकते हैं. Now, which of the following is an example of pioneer species in ecological succession? हमें जब ecological succession समझता है तो we only think about terrestrial ecosystems. But even in aquatic ecosystem, there is, we can say, ecological succession. And lichens and mosses primary succession में जरूर होते हैं. But fireweed अगर देखते हैं तो after forest fire, what kind of succession happens? Secondary ecological succession. There we find such kind of pioneer species. So this one is also correct. First and third, clams and other kinds of insects, if you see in aquatic ecosystem, such kind of pioneer species are also there. So all 4 is the correct answer here. ठीक है, all 4 is the correct answer. ठीक है, यहाँ पे आया नहीं है. So all 4 is the correct answer. जो D answer होगा इसमें. Fine. So these are the topics for environment section. Fine. Keep giving these tests and ask your friends to register for next AIPMT. Fine. Thank you.
So welcome to the current affair discussion for AIPMT-II. So quickly we'll see the questions which had been asked in this particular test. So the first question is with reference to COVI net. So this particular network, international, you can say collaboration has been ensured so as to make sure that all the expertise related to emerging coronavirus, the data could be shared on a global platform. So it aims to facilitate and coordinate global expertise for the early detection and assessment of various coronaviruses. Coronaviruses are RNA based viruses. RNA based viruses. So they are a little bit different from normal flu viruses, although they have symptoms related to flu only, but they have more transmission rate and more replication and mutation rate. It will also cover enhanced surveillance of swine flu virus. No, the swine flu virus is not from the families of coronaviruses. Coronaviruses are SARS, severe acute respiratory syndrome, SARS. So there has been coronavirus variant 1 and variant 2. So this was the COVID pandemic, SARS-CoV-2. Apart from that, there was one more. This is Middle East respiratory syndrome. So that actually could not, that thankfully was not so on a wider scale. So basically swine flu is not RNA kind of viruses. Their transmission rate and their mechanism of action is different. So this has not been covered as far as surveillance under this CoVNet is concerned. So this is incorrect. It is an initiative of the Indian SARS-CoV-2 Genomics Consortium. No, this is World Health Organization. So this is also incorrect. Only one statement out of 3 is given correct. A would be the correct answer. 32nd question is with reference to the unique land parcel identification number. So this is also known as Bhu Aadhaar. Like Aadhaar, unique identification number for citizens, all the land parcels would also be actually given a unique code under Digital India Land Record Modernization Program, DILRMP, so as to make sure that litigation and identification related to land, if land gets identified who is the real owner, then it becomes very easy to reduce the litigation when land is sold. Apart from that, if there is clear title, it becomes very easy for the government once they acquire land for any developmental or infrastructural purposes. So this is correct. It is being implemented by Ministry of Rural Development. This is also correct. It is a central government project. Earlier it was National Land Record Modernization Program, and in 2016 it was changed to Digital India Land Record Modernization Program. So both the statements are correct. C would be the correct answer. So consider the following statements about BIMSTEC. So it is a regional organization established under 1997 with the Bangkok Declaration. This is correct. Recently, the group has acquired a legal personality status. So that means the group BIMSTEC as a group can, you can say, partner with any other international organization, or they can get observer status. Suppose any meeting is there, suppose G2 and G7 meeting is there, or G20 meeting is there, then you can say in special invitees, as special, like any country is given special invites, BIMSTEC group can also be actually given, you can say, special invites. They can also acquire observer status in some of the other international organization. So this is correct. Recently it has happened. So both the statements are actually correct. C would be the correct answer. So with reference to the Mundra Port is by Adani. So that becomes, it's a private port. So we'll see. It is one of the major ports of India? No. It is one of the largest ports of India, but that is not a major port. Major port is all ports. There are 13 major ports which are, you can say, governed by central government. So since it is, major ports are government operated, or is it government administered port, but Mundra Port is a private port. It is the largest container port in India. This is correct. The second statement is correct. It is the largest container port in India, and it is also getting developed as one of the most sophisticated in terms of handling the containers as well as the shipping volumes. It holds the record of docking the largest container ship at any Indian port. This is also correct. There was this MSC Anna, which is the largest for a container ship which got docked in any of the ports, either major ports or minor ports or any private ports. So that got docked on Mundra Port. So this is correct also. Second and third statement are correct. D would be the correct answer as 2 and 3 only. Kavli Prize. So it is announced by Royal Norwegian. So Royal Swedish, just talking about Royal Swedish Academy of Sciences awards Nobel Prizes in physics, chemistry as well as economics. At the same time, Norwegian Society awards for other Nobel Prizes, but Kavli one prize, that is one of the organization, Kavli organization, in association with Norwegian Society Academy of Sciences and Letter. It announces Kavli Prize. So that is incorrect. It recognizes scientists for outstanding work in the fields of astrophysics. This is correct. Nanoscience and neuroscience. So you can see it is more like astrophysics is more related to the celestial body and all those developments. Apart from that, nanoscience at the scale of nanotechnology, at the scale of 10 raised to power 9 meter, and apart from neuroscience, how the brain functions, what is the cognitive functions or the behavioral aspects, how the brain processes information. So that is how, and that is why all those developments, so recently this was announced for all the 3 scientists in the respective category. So that is why this question was asked. So this is correct. So second statement is only correct. B would be the correct answer. 91st question is, statement 1 says ethylene oxide is used as sterilizing agent, disinfectant kind of agent in spices powder. So there was one development wherein India's MDH masala and there were certain fish curry spices which was actually called back because some of the developments that took place in, I guess, Singapore or Malaysia, wherein those spices were actually having higher traces of those carcinogenic contents. So ethylene oxide is used as sterilizing agent in spices powder because they have, we can say, they do not alter the composition of spices. That is why it is widely used as sterilizing agent. It is highly toxic and has carcinogenic properties. This is also correct. And this was the, you can say, defense which was given by the MDH, the you can say all those authorities which had to explain as to why unka masala zyada tha. They said that there was higher contamination in terms of ethylene oxides which had been found in their spices. Both the statements are actually correct, but one is talking about the sterilizing property, other is talking about the negative aspect, that is the carcinogenic property. So B, there is no relation between two. Both the statements are correct, but statement 2 is not the explanation of statement 1. 92nd question is, with reference to the recently launched GREAT scheme. GREAT scheme is all for promotion of technical textiles. So one type of textile is normal, which is used to create fabric, and from there clothes are made for wearing purposes. But there are other types of textiles which are having, you can say, higher tech properties, like they are used for construction activities. You must have seen the green wala jo aage jo lagate hain, that those are technical textiles. There are certain marine which has higher tolerance for salty water, and they are used for pisciculture and fisheries purposes. So these textiles which have higher engineering which is going into their development, they are known as technical textiles, and the demand for these are increasing, and it has higher margins, and also that would mean India's gaining share in the global market for technical textiles. So that is why GREAT scheme has been launched. It aims to support startups in developing functional, first prototyping would be done, first prototype would be there, then commercialization of the technologies for technical textiles. This is correct. It has been launched by Ministry of Skill Development. No, since this is specific product, so technically if any specific development, specific promotion is done, the respective ministry is actually associated with it. And for technical textile, it is Ministry of Textile, obviously, Ministry of Textile. It is not a generalized startup promotion scheme, so this is incorrect. Under the scheme, up to rupees 50 lakh, this value is quite high, because even in the startup scheme only, I guess 1 crore or 10 up to 10 crore is given, then how can a particular ministry would be given more than that? So since this is a scheme, you could have tried to have an intelligent guess to it. So it is up to 50 lakh. This is also incorrect. Only one statement is correct. A would be the correct answer. 93rd question is with reference to biodiversity beyond national jurisdiction. It is also known as UN High Seas Treaty, so as to have equitable sharing of resources in open seas. None of the particular countries can claim the resources which are found to be in open seas, and also development of marine protected area, so that over exploitation of open seas does not hamper the marine resources in these areas. It is an international treaty under the United Nations Convention on the Law of the Sea. UNCLOS, this is correct. UNCLOS, International Seabed Authority, actually is the particular administrative authorities to look into these matters. It sets a precise mechanism for the sustainable use of marine biological diversity through an international cooperation and coordination. This is also correct. So 1 and 2 both the statements are correct. C would be the correct answer. So since in prelims 2024 we have seen that you can say one of the questions which is largely GK based was asked. So we have been adding this type of questions right from AIPMT 1, and that is why this year, this particular AIPMT, we have asked the sports trophy and the country where it is held. Syed Mushtaq Ali Trophy is associated with cricket. Up to this point this is correct, but this is in India, a T20 format. This is correct. This is incorrect, since all the three information are not aligning. Durand Cup is related with football and it is hosted by India. This is correct. Sultan Azlan Shah Cup is related with hockey and this is held in or hosted by Malaysia. This is also correct. So second and third information, the rows are correctly informed as far as information, total information is correct. So 2 and 3 are correct. B would be the correct answer. Row 2 and row 3 have correct sets of information. So Universal Service Obligation Fund is related to development of telecom services in rural and remote areas. So earlier it was USOF, now it is Digital Bharat Nidhi. So under this, some of the revenue, I guess 5% of the total revenues by telecom operating companies, the telcos like Airtel, Jio, Vodafone Idea, they need to have this thing deposited in a particular account for the development of, you can say, the development of telecom services in rural as well as remote areas. So this is USOF. Increased telecom connectivity, A would be the correct answer. The new rules have been framed under Digital Bharat Nidhi. A would be the correct answer for this question. 96th question, with reference to the Voice of Global South Summit. So this was the third summit. First was hosted in 2023 Jan, when India had this presidency for G20. Then in November again it was hosted by India only. So this was the third summit which was hosted by India. So second statement would become incorrect. It was the third, and all the three summits have been hosted by India. It makes sure that all those developing countries, the global south, have a platform just like G20 and G7. They have a global platform from Asia, the countries from Asia Pacific, the Middle East, the Latin America, as well as from Africa, so that their voices can also become a powerful force spearheaded by India, China, South Africa, Brazil and all those like-minded countries, so that they can also have their equitable sharing as well as global diplomacy is concerned. The summit provides a unified platform by bringing together developing as well as developed nations on board. This is incorrect. It is only developing countries. Developed nations, they do not have any condition with this. If developing and developed are considered, it is G20 platform, not this Voice of Global South Summit. So both the statements are incorrect. D would be the correct answer. 97th question. E-Shram portal is a national database for unorganized workforce. Unorganized workforce means those workforce which are working in informal sector. It could be migrant worker, it could be construction, urban casual, gig, all these taken together. So it aims to create a national database of migrant workers only? No, not only, all these sets of workers. So it is maintained by Ministry of Labor and Employment, not Ministry of External Affairs. So this becomes an incorrect statement. The portal provides a universal account number just like EPFO. E-Shram also has universal account numbers to have portability. If a particular person is working for a particular enterprise and he switches to another, then this number remains same. This is correct. So only third statement is correct. B. 3 only is correct. B. 98. The declaration came at a time when Britain along with its allies was fighting tough battle in World War I, and when the Zionist movement for developed Jews was gaining ground. The Zionists believed that the Jewish community facing increased persecution in Europe would not be safe till they had a country, a homeland to call their own. Which of the following declaration is being referred to in the above paragraph? It is Balfour Declaration. It is Balfour Declaration. D would be the correct answer. 99th question is with reference to electroencephalogram, EEG. So this is different from ECG, electrocardiogram. EEG maps brain wave pattern. ECG is heart monitoring. So it is used to monitor heart movements. This is incorrect. It monitors wave pattern to detect any anomaly in physiological function. This is correct. It tries to monitor the wave pattern of brain so as to know about whether there is any anomaly in the brain functions specifically related to sleep, thinking and all those things. So second statement is only correct. B would be the correct answer. The last question from the current affairs section as well as in the paper was the term samosa caucus recently seen in the news refers to which of the following? It is an informal reference to a group of Indian American lawmakers in the US Congress because recently the US elections were held and this Indian American lawmakers were a powerful force, a powerful network, and that is why this was an informal term which was coined beforehand only, and this was also being popularized in this particular elections. So this was all the questions related to current affairs. Thank you. Hello and welcome to the discussion of economy section. So before the discussion, I want to make clear that we are launching 3 programs. One being the prelims guidance program. So that would get launched in January. So in this particular program, we'll make sure that since the prelims would be held in May, we'll make sure that the preparation are in sync with the things which are generally asked in prelims examination. On top of it, we'll also make sure that there is a prelims test series which is also getting along with that particular program also, that would be also launched in January. And in the month of December this year only, we are also having PYQ test series. So to make sure that you are also prepared as far as mains answer writing is concerned. So that would be mains oriented and these 2 programs would be prelims oriented. So coming to the economy section. For the AIPMT-II test which was held recently. So in this particular this economy section, we had seen that the questions were mostly trend based as well as factual. So some of the questions were although conceptual, but most of the questions were actually aligned with the trend as to how has been the tax collection over a period of certain period. Apart from that, we also saw some of the factual data as to what is the proportion of land holding and related questions. So quickly we'll see the discussion part of these questions. So the first question is question number 1 of that particular question paper, that is, consider the following statements about mineral security finance network. So this was in sync with mineral security partnership, which is a US led, you can say, supply chain resilience network. It's a kind of supply chain resilience so as to break the hegemony of critical mineral supply chain. So we'll see the statements accordingly. It is a new initiative launched by China. No, this is USA. So this finance network is an intelligence, or you can say information sharing network. Apart from that, it's a particular thing which has been launched within this mineral security partnership. India is one of the members of this network. Obviously, this is first statement is incorrect, second is correct. India is one of the members. Apart from that, most of the developed countries, the Western countries, are member of this finance network. So out of these, second statement is only correct. Only two only would be the correct. B answer would be the correct. Second question is, consider the following statement. So this is a trend based question. Direct taxes have a higher share in India's total tax revenue in 2023-24. That is the last fiscal year, and this is correct. So technically, out of 100 rupees tax collection, last year it was 57 rupees from direct taxes, and that shows that our taxation system is actually moving more towards progressive system, wherein the tax collection is being taken from those who have the capability to pay more taxes. So this statement is correct. A higher share of direct taxes is considered progressive. This is obviously, this is a corollary. Among states, Gujarat has the highest share. No, not Gujarat, it is Maharashtra. And incidentally, Maharashtra actually accounts for 40% of the total direct tax collection. That is why Maharashtra is an important state, or the financial state of India. So this becomes incorrect. 2 statements out of 3 is correct. B would be the correct answer. Third assertion reason. Statement 1 says higher tax buoyancy. So tax buoyancy is tax collection growth rate in terms of percentage increase upon GDP growth rate in terms of percentage, and that is nominal. If there is higher tax collection growth rate vis-a-vis the increase in GDP, we say that our tax system has been buoyant and it should be more than 1. So higher tax buoyancy may indicate an expanding tax base. This is correct because more people are being actually considered within the tax network, and that shows that's an example of higher tax buoyancy. So this statement is correct. Second statement says India's tax base has consistently increased in the last 4 years. This is also correct. From 6.5 crores, it has increased to 7.5 crores, including all those entities, the corporates as well as individuals. So this statement is also correct, but it is not explaining the phenomena of statement 1. So actually both the statements are correct, but statement 2 is not the explanation of statement 1. So B would be the correct answer rather than A. Question number 4 says a country X, suppose there is a country X with a huge labor surplus, is facing a jobless growth. Jobless growth means GDP is increasing, but labor, you can say employment is lagging. And there is one more term which is employment elasticity of growth is less. Employment elasticity of growth is less than 1. That means GDP, the income levels are rising, but the jobs are not getting created in the economy. So there's a situation which has been given. So which of the following measures can be taken by the government to ride out of this crisis. The first is reservation of locals in private sector. This is a no-no, because that would deter, that would actually hinder job creation, because many of the private corporates, they would move away from these particular country which have certain affirmative action for particular section of the people, rather than thinking more about the efficiency part. Promotion of vocational training, this is correct, because if there is higher skill sets, there would be higher probability of these people getting absorbed rather than having disguised unemployment or structural unemployment. Providing subsidies to MSME sector, we know that MSME sectors have the ability to create more jobs, and that too in the secondary sector activities, so this is also correct. Tax breaks to IT and ITES sector, this is incorrect, because IT and IT enabled sectors actually create more income rather than more jobs. And that is a peculiar phenomenon in Indian economy, wherein the jobs are not getting created, because most of the income that is coming is from the service sector, specifically from the IT sector. And that is why if we give more tax breaks, there would be a scenario wherein more income may get generated, but that would not be actually compensated by creation of more jobs. So statement 2 and statement 3 are only correct, and C would be the correct answer, as 2 and 3 only. Again, A and statement 1, statement 2 based. Statement 1 says devaluation of a currency can be detrimental. So this is negative for a country with a high foreign denominated debt. This is correct, because what happens that if a country has external borrowings or external debt, external debts means in foreign currency, and if they have been borrowed in foreign currency, at the time of maturity also they'll have to be repaid back in foreign currency. And if there is currency depreciation or devaluation, what would happen at the time of maturity? More local currency would be required to convert it back into the original amount. Just say, for example, if 1 USD rupees 80 at the time of borrowing, and at the time of maturity 1 USD means rupees 90, suppose. So what would happen? Suppose $1,000 were borrowed at the time when it was rupees 80. At the time of maturity, again rupees 1,000 would have to be paid in principal. So that would mean now rupees 90 worth of exchange would be required, and that would mean more local currency, and that is why it is detrimental. So this is correct, because the repayment cost increases with currency devaluation. This is also correct, and this is explaining the phenomena of statement 1. So A would be the correct answer. So 36th question again is, consider the following statement about Prime Minister's internship scheme. So this has been announced in budget 2024 or this year's budget. Specifically, it aims at providing internship opportunities to youth in top 500 companies of India. This is correct. Vocational training or on the job training would be actually given. There is no age criteria for the scheme. This is incorrect. There is an age criteria of 21 to 24 years. So those candidates who are actually applying for these must be in this particular age bracket. A candidate must be engaged in full-time education to get the internship under the scheme. This is also incorrect, because the criteria is they should be having either part-time employment or part-time education. No full-time either employment or education. That is the criteria. So this is also incorrect. So only one statement out of 3 is correct. A would be the correct answer. 37th question. With reference to the Indian economy, consider the following statements. As per the World Bank's classification, India is categorized as low middle income country. This is correct. There are 4 classifications by WB or the World Bank. One is low income. So technically this is below 1000 USD. If the per capita income is 1000 USD nominal per capita, then is low mid income from 1000 till 4500 USD. This is the criteria. It keeps on changing as the inflation, as the year progresses. Third is upper middle income country. So this is between 4,500 till 13,500 USD. And last is high income. This is more than 13,500 USD. So currently India's per capita income is round about 2,600 US dollar in nominal terms. So this is low mid income country. So this is correct. In the last 10 years, India's per capita income has grown by 35%. In real terms, this is correct. In real terms, mean inflation adjusted, it has increased by only 35%. Although our economy has doubled, but it has also been compensated by increase in population. And per capita income is total income upon total population. Since the denominator has also increased by a higher proportion, that is why per capita income has not increased in real sense. But in nominal terms, it has increased by more than 2.2 times. This is nominal, but the question is asking about real. So this is a correct statement, and both the statements are correct. C would be the correct answer. 38th question is, how many of the above factors will lead to sustained economic growth? So it talks about sustainability. It should not be you can say topsy-turvy, or you can say start-stop kind of economic growth. So increasing investment on infrastructure, actually it would lead to added multiplier effects on the economy. This is important. So that would increase sustainability of economic growth. Investment in R&D, obviously it would be driven by knowledge economy, and that would push people, or sorry, the economy to move away from the middle income trap. Giving farm loan waivers, this is incorrect, because in long term this is fiscally unsustainable, because what is happening that it is being paid out of taxpayers' money. So taxpayers' money, and that becomes a political tool. So every political party who are in opposition, they'll try to attract voters that once they come to power, they'll waive off all the loans. So that is not fiscally sustainable, or it would not lead to sustained economic growth. High expenditure on social sector like health, education, you can say housing. So these are actually good, because that would increase the standard of living as well as capability to become a resource for the economy, and this is actually very good. So 1, 2 and 4 are correct out of 4. 3 are only correct. C would be the correct answer. 39th question is, with reference to financial market, consider the following statements. Under the Foreign Exchange Management Act, FEMA, FPIs, hot money. We need to make sure that it is asking about FPIs are allowed to hold up to 10% of company's total paid up equity capital. This is correct. Once they move beyond 10%, that is considered as foreign direct investment, and that is why there is a changes in the recent changes which has been brought in, that once this limit is breached, there are two options. One is dilute it or intimate it as FDI. So this statement is actually incorrect, because it is only talking about one of the factors. Actually it is both the options which are given rather than only one option. So second statement is, an FDI breaching this limit shall be required to dilute the excess holdings. It could be, but there are two options that once they need to actually get it converted into FDIs also. There are other options also. So this statement is incorrect. So first is only correct. A would be the correct answer. 40th question is, when the Reserve Bank of India conducts open market operations, it results in adjustment of money supply as well as monetary base. What is? Because what happens that money multiplier is not dependent on the amount of liquidity, rather it is dependent on cash reserve ratio, because money multiplier is 1 upon CRR. It has nothing to do with the open market operation or increased financial inclusion. More people would be actually accessing bank accounts, and that would mean increased money multiplier. So open market operations has direct impact on money supply as well as the monetary base. So 2 and 3 are only correct. C would be the correct answer. So this is a question, a survey based question. So as per the, with reference to NABARD All India Rural Financial Inclusion Survey, consider the following statements. The share of food in the consumption basket of rural household has decreased. This is actually correct. It has moved from 53% to, I guess, 47%, and that is why in the current household consumption expenditure survey, this has also been actually vindicated that our food consumption as a proportion of total consumption expenditure has gone down. The average size of land holdings has also declined. This is also correct because of increased population one, and division of land, obviously. So number of families have increased, so land holdings have gone down per unit. The proportion of household with outstanding debt has increased. It has increased with time. So in farmers' indebtedness, what we see, farmer suicides because of more debts. So this has increased, not decreased. The proportion of agricultural households with loan from institutional sources has increased, obviously because of the financial inclusion initiatives, priority sector lending, and NABARD push through ensuring credit through formal sources. The government is also inclined toward this through budgetary supports. So first, second and fourth are correct only. C would be the correct answer. Forty-second is, a country is facing high, so there is a hypothetical situation so as to test your basically knowledge, the conceptual part. A country is facing high food inflation due to the failure of monsoon, resulting in low output of major crops. In this situation, which of the following is correct? An expansionary monetary policy would be the most effective. This is highly incorrect because that would erode purchasing power of rupee, because there would be high liquidity in the system because the supplies are less, the money holding which is being held by public is more. That would mean more demand and it would also increase more inflation. This is incorrect. A contractionary fiscal policy means increased taxes. Again, this is also not a feasible option. A contractionary monetary policy means increasing repo rates may not be effective due to supply side bottlenecks. This is correct, and this is the limitation when food inflation rises. There is, you can say, limited tools for RBI, because RBI, I can say, captures CPI based movement, and that too they try to tweak the policy rates. But when policy rates are more in sync with ensuring that the demand for credit goes down. However, this is supply side bottlenecks, and that is why RBI has limited tools to counter these developments. And this has also been, you can say, admitted by RBI in their bulletins also, that only supply side streamlining is the solution so as to make sure that the food inflation is kept under control. So the 43rd question is, consider the following statements about Indian agriculture. India is the second largest producer of fruits and vegetables in the world, obviously after China. This is correct. China is the first. Horticultural production is higher than food production. This is also correct. Horticultural production is, last year it was 353 million tons, and food grain production was 330, around about 330 million tons. So this has surpassed. Horticultural production means fruits, vegetables, spices, and all these things are considered within horticultural. So this is also correct. India is the second largest sugar producer in the world. This is also correct after Brazil. Brazil is the largest producer of sugar. So 1, 2, 3, all the statements are correct. D would be the correct answer. So you have seen that most of the questions are factual, trend based or data driven questions. Some of them are good conceptual questions. So the 44th question is, how many of the above mentioned countries are members of Comprehensive and Progressive Agreement for Trans-Pacific Partnership? So USA and India is not out of the list given. USA and India is not the member of these CPTPP. So out of 5, only 3 are members, that is Canada, Australia and Singapore. So only 3. B would be the correct answer. And the last question was, consider the following statements about quantitative easing. Quantitative easing means giving cash to public, at the same time lowering policy rates. So these are the measures by US Fed. It can lead to capital flight from India? No. What happens that when there is, you can say, deflation kind of thing, there is less of a demand, a quantitative easing is actually adopted by US Federal Reserve. What happens that they want to inject demand in the economy and they try to push in people with cash system, either the US government would be doing, and they'll try to reduce the policy rates, whatsoever the policy rates that is there in the United States of America. And what that would mean? So US investors would be having the cash, they will take the cash and they will try to inject those cash via equity route into the developing market like India. They'll try to go into investments in Indian equity market, and that would means more capital incoming into Indian market, because already the interest rates are very less in United States because of quantitative easing. So rather than saving that thing in their savings account, in the bank accounts, they'll try to invest in those countries which offer higher rate of return, and that would mean more incoming. And this is why it is incorrect. Indian currency may witness a currency appreciation. Obviously, if there is more dollars coming into Indian market, that would mean more demand for Indian rupees, because what would happen? Ideally, those money, if they want to invest in Indian market, they'll have to convert US dollars into Indian rupee, and this means there would be higher demand for Indian rupees, and Indian currency INR would appreciate vis-a-vis dollar. Second statement is correct. That is why B would be the correct answer. So this was, thank you.
Hello everyone. So we have been discussing the AIPMT GS paper 2, and we have already seen the discussions for the economy and the geography section. Now we will begin with the polity section, right? So for polity, we have had 15 questions in the question paper, from question number 11 to 15 and 61 to 70. Let us have a look one by one. So question 11 is about the doctrine of least pendants, right? So this doctrine has been in news recently, and we have also seen that UPSC has a habit of asking the doctrines or the writs of the Supreme Court and the High Courts over a time, and so this doctrine gathers the importance because it has been in context of the civil suits related to properties, immovable properties like a house or a plot of land or something like that, right? So now these are the things which are very much asked in the examination, like right to property is a fundamental right or a constitutional right. And yes, so this doctrine has been in news, and so they have given 4 statements regarding the doctrine. The first one is, it is implied that the administrative authorities to prepare a list of vacancies in the office. This is incorrect. Invoked by a creditor to freeze the debtor's assets during bankruptcy proceedings. This is also incorrect. The right statement is statement C, that it restricts the transfer of property when there is a litigation pending on the title or any rights that arise directly in connection with the immovable property. Correct? Now, the contentions which were presented before the court was whether this doctrine starts at the time of litigation or at the time of filing the case. According to the Supreme Court in the recent judgment, that the principles of doctrine of least pendants comes into effect the moment you file a case, right? So the right answer is option C. Second, consider the following statements about prosecution under the Prevention of Money Laundering Act. So even UPSC has been asking questions about the Money Laundering Act, And this particular question contains a statement whether a civil servant or a judge can be prosecuted by the Directorate of Enforcement for the crimes under the PMLA law while acting in the discharge of his official duties, right? If there has been allegations of corruption or something like that. Now, the second important aspect is whether the prior sanction is required to prosecute or not, right? So, according to the recent Supreme Court judgment that you can note, that you can also write in your mains answers about when we try to quote the case laws in our answers. The judgment which came recently, just 10 or 12 days ago, November 2024, Tarseem Lal versus ED, right? In this judgment, the government said that the prior sanction is required, correct? So, in this particular question, both the statements are correct. ED can prosecute, but the prior sanction is also required. So, the right answer is option C, both the statements are correct. Next, the right to property is a constitutional right as well as human right. The statement is correct, we all know that. Second statement, the Constitution of India states that no person shall be deprived of his or her property except by the authority of law. This statement is correct, right? Now, the third statement is 42nd Constitutional Amendment Act 1976 removed the right to property from Part 3, that is fundamental rights of the Constitution of India. That is correct, that right to property was removed as a fundamental right and included under Article 300A of the Constitution of India, but it was not 42nd Amendment. It was 44th Amendment, 1978, right? The third statement is incorrect. So, out of these three statements, first and second are correct, and the answer would be option B, only 2. Next, which of the following features best illustrates the federal structure of the Indian Constitution? Let us see. First is supremacy of the parliament. So, this does not illustrate the federal nature, as if the parliament is supreme, it can assume powers to make laws for the state assemblies also. They assume greater powers during national emergency and other instances like the president's rule and etc. So, supremacy of the parliament does not imply the does not illustrate one of the concepts about the federal structure. A written constitution with the division of powers, single citizenship, emergency powers of the union. So, out of these 4 options, the most appropriate option is a written constitution with division of powers between center and states, right? So, option B is the most appropriate answer. We have seen in Schedule 7 that the states are having certain subjects assigned to them on which they can make laws. Union list is there, concurrent list is there. So, yes, among these 4 given options, the best illustration of the federal structure is the division of powers between the center and the union, right? Next. Consider the following statements. In first past the post-electoral system, candidates must secure more than 51% of the votes polled to win. More than 51% votes. Right? So, please understand that such kind of questions are conceptual questions. They have been given in NCERT books and other standard books also. Please make a conceptual clarity about such things. In FTPT, FPTP, it is not the requirement to secure 51% votes. The requirement is that you should secure at least one vote more than the other candidates. If you have scored, even if you have scored 20% of the all votes, but you have scored more than the other contesting candidates, you would be considered as a winner in this poll, right? So, more than 51% of the votes is incorrect statement. Second, FPTP can result in a mismatch between the percentage of votes a party receives and the number of seats it wins. Yes, percentage of votes. Suppose there are 100 people voting for a party and there can be multiple candidates for party A, party B, C and an independent candidate. Out of these 100 votes, if this person secures 20 votes, but other persons also secure certain amount of votes, then the percentage of votes secured and percentage of votes secured by a candidate who wins and percentage of votes secured by a party are two different things. There can be a mismatch, correct? We have discussed it elaborately in our class also in foundation batch and NCERT classes again, right? So this is a very simple statement. Yes, they might not be the same, correct? Third statement, the purpose of proportional representation is to ensure that parties gain seats based on the number of votes they receive. Yes, this statement is correct, which means if that a party is securing 30 or 35% of the votes polled, then they should also represent in 35% of the total seats of the assembly or in any scenario, similar scenario, correct? So, second and third statements are correct. The right answer would be option B, only 2. Next, which one of the following is the primary purpose of ABHA, Ayushman Bharat Health Account Based Scan and Share Service? So this is a current affairs based factual question, right? Keep yourself updated with the most promising schemes, most talked about schemes, which are related to health sector, which are related to education sector, and which are related to industrial corridors and performance linked initiatives. Such kind of schemes are more important for this examination when compared to the other schemes that the government comes up with. So let us see the statements one by one. To consolidate patient health information into a single accessible record. Second, to enable remote doctor consultations through digital platforms. Third, to streamline patient registration at hospital OPDs using digital processes. And fourth, to provide access to various health insurance plans and benefits. The right statement is option C. It streamlines the patient registration, the outpatient department services that we see, that you can scan your Aadhaar details or other things, or you can scan the details of the doctor or the hospital which are being displayed through a QR code in front of the hospital or the primary healthcare center, and you can register yourself for the appointment. That is the simple thing. So this actually reduces the queue, this reduces the scheduling of the patients and the doctors, this improves the the whole ecosystem of delivering the healthcare services, right? So option C is the right statement. Next. So we have seen this question in mains this year also, and the question is about preventing the crimes of cheating and other such crimes in examinations, in competitive examinations which are held for the recruitment and other things, right? So with reference to the Public Examinations Prevention of Unfair Means Act 2024, consider the following statements. First, The Act aims to prevent unfair means in public examinations and ensure transparency, fairness, and credibility. To prevent unfair means, which can be either a digital device or a Bluetooth earphones or a headset, passing on the information through small chits, piece of papers, carrying books, right? So there can be different ways in which you can aid in cheating or getting to know the answers of those particular questions. So yes, this act is to prevent the unfair means, as the name suggests. But whether the act defines unfair means or not, yes, the act does define unfair means. So statement 2 is does not define is incorrect. It does define. The act defines unfair means relating to the conduct of a public examination. Third statement, the recruitment process through the UPSC, Union Public Service Commissions, the examinations conducted by UPSC are under the, or what can we say, are also being supervised or are also being included under this particular act. So the, yes, Public Service Commission, the exams conducted by Public Service Commissions are also included for the prevention of unfair means, right? So first and third statement are correct. The right answer is option C, 1 and 3 only. Next, with reference to a bill to change the name of a particular state in India, consider the following statements. So there are two statements given, right? The first one is, it can be introduced in the parliament only with the prior recommendation of the president. This is correct. Second, the parliament is bound by the views of the state legislature. Bound by the views of state legislature is incorrect. On the referred bill, the views are received in specified time, but the command of the question is to find the incorrect statement. The incorrect statement is only the second statement, hence the answer is option B, right? Very simple question. Focus on the commands of the question that are asked, right? Next. Consider the following pairs about the laws and the provisions. First chapter of your standard textbook. Regulating Act of 1773, Charter Act of 1833 and Charter Act of 1853. Whether the given provisions of these acts are correctly given or not. Let us see. 1773 laid the foundation of central administration in India. Yes, this statement is correct because the Governor General of Bengal was made as a Governor General of India. There was a provision for a Supreme Court to be established at the Supreme Court at Kolkata and other things. So, Regulating Act of 1773 laid the foundation. The company was also required to submit the military and administrative expenses to the higher authorities, right? So, first statement is, first pair is correctly matched. Second is 1833, Governor General of Bengal as Governor General of India. Yes, so this statement is, this pair is also correct. Please remember who was the first Governor General of India in 1833 and do recall the names of those people also. Third is Charter Act of 1853 created Governor General's Legislative Council. It was actually known as Governor General's Central Legislative Council, right? So all the three pairs are correctly matched. Next question. This was very factual, very factual and very simple question asked. Next, assertion and reasoning kind of questions. Statement 1, governor of a state submits a report to the president. Report to the President of India under the provisions of Article 356 when there is a failure of constitutional machinery in the state. Yes, we all know that governor can submit the report to the President of India for the enforcement of President's rule in a state, and such provisions are mentioned under Article 356 of the Constitution of India, right? Now the second statement is, Constitution of India grants the governor certain discretionary powers to act independently without the advice of the Council of Ministers. Very true. The discretionary powers of the governor are mentioned in the Constitution of India, and they are a bit more than the discretionary powers of the president, right? Such as the appointment of the chief minister under the provisions of Article 164, reservation of the bills for the president's assent under Article 200, as well as submitting a report to the President of India for imposing the President's rule under Article 356. So, first statement is correct, second statement is correct, and statement 2 is the correct explanation of statement 1. So, this is a discretionary power, and governor can submit a report to the President, right? So, answer is option A. Both the statements are correct, and the second statement is the right explanation of statement 1. Next, consider the following statements about the National Company Law Tribunal. A couple of years back, we have seen a question about the contempt of court powers, right? So, at times, it becomes important to know the basis of such recommendations, basis of such laws, right? One such example is the judicial guidelines issued in the Vishakha case judgment, which led to the enactment of the law, the prevention of sexual crimes, right? Sexual harassment at the workplace. Similar one such committee was Iradi committee. And the chairperson of this committee was V. Balakrishna Iradi, right? He recommended the constitution of NCLT law, National Company Law Tribunal. First statement is correct. Just in case you were unaware of this particular fact, remember this. Second, the National Company Law Tribunal was constituted by the central government under the provisions of the Companies Act 2013. This statement is also correct, but remember that the Companies Act was amended in 2013. Right? And National Company Law Tribunal came in 2016. Recommended in 2020. Right? It took them 16 years to come up with a tribunal. Third statement. It is a quasi-judicial body in India that educates matters related to the corporate law. All the three given statements are correct. The right answer is option D, 1, 2 and 3, all. Right. Next question. Which of the following statements regarding the Supreme Court of India is incorrect? The Parliament cannot curtail the powers of and jurisdiction is correct. The Constitution has guaranteed the exclusive original jurisdiction to the Supreme Court of India in case of federal disputes, correct. The Parliament can extend the jurisdiction and powers of the Supreme Court, correct. Exclusive original jurisdiction of the Supreme Court extends to any suit by an individual against the center or any state. This is not exclusive original jurisdiction. An individual can also approach the high courts to sue the government, a state government, right? So the last statement, statement D is incorrect, and the question asked was the incorrect statement. The right answer is option D. Right, next. Consider the following. A corporate social responsibility concept in India is governed by the Companies Act and Companies CSR Policy Rules 2014. This statement is correct. There are these two acts. One is the Companies Act and the other one is the CSR policies, which were given by the central government in 2014. So all these, both of these statutes actually govern the concept of corporate social responsibility in India, right? Second statement. Companies are allowed to carry forward the unspent amount to the next fiscal in addition to the money allotted for that particular next fiscal, right? Carry forward. So today this statement is incorrect because in 2019 there were certain amendments to the rules by the central government which said that you cannot carry forward the money that was allotted for the CSR. Earlier they could have carried forward, but now they cannot. Now the government has also come up with certain guidelines that you have to deposit this unspent money to particular accounts. We can know about them also. But the concept that they can carry forward the unspent money just like the millets funds is not allowed in CSR. You have to deposit that money, and once you deposit that money to certain accounts in the banks, from that date on which the money was submitted, that money was transferred to those accounts, from that date you are given 3 years to spend that money, right? So, but you cannot carry forward those amount in your own accounts, right? Next, CSR rules specify the minimum amount to be spent on CSR activities. Yes, we all know that how much it is. That is 2% of the average of the past 3 financial years, right? So the third statement is correct. Minimum amount is specified. Statement 2 is incorrect, not allowed. Statement 1 is Companies Act and CSR rules is correct. The right answer is option B, only 2. Next. With reference to the constitutional provisions related to the proclamation of national emergency, consider the following statements. So what are the statements? The Parliament assumes power to legislate on any subject mentioned in the state list. This statement is correct. Parliament assumes power to legislate on the subjects mentioned in the state list. Correct. The Parliament becomes empowered to extend the normal tenure of the state legislative assembly. Correct. The President can modify the constitutional distribution of revenue between the center and the states. Whether the President is empowered to reduce the amount of money transferred to the states from the central pool, or to enhance that transfer, or to completely stop that kind of transfers, as most of the powers are assumed by the Parliament. Now, the important aspect is whether President is empowered to do so, whether the Union government is empowered to do so, or whether the Parliament is empowered to do so. Right? Perhaps this is a confusing thing, but the third statement given here is correct. President is empowered to modify the distribution of revenues from the central pool towards the states. All the 3 statements given are correct. The right answer is option D, 1, 2 and 3. Last question from the polity section. Now that question is bit what we say surprising question, right? The elections of the elections of the president in United States and the election of president in India. Now we all know what the electoral school, right? Electoral college. What the electoral college is made of in India, and how does the electoral functioning takes place in US elections. We in India, we usually have the elected representatives which are part of the union legislature and state legislature to vote for the president of India, but same thing is not similar in United States, right? So they do have their different process in USA to form an electoral college, right? But what we see is in statement number 2, it says all the members of the parliament. That is incorrect. We have just the elected members and not the nominated members. Right, so second statement is incorrect. First statement is correct. The citizens in USA cast their votes for a group of electors. Now, these are the group of electors which citizens choose apart from the elected representatives that they choose for their assembly. Correct. Now, how many electors they choose? They choose 538 electors from all the from the entire country, entire nation chooses 538 electors. Now, out of these 538, a winning candidate should secure 270 votes, that we know. But these electors are chosen by the political parties, but they are not the elected representatives. That is a separate thing. They just choose these electors to vote for the election of the president in USA. This we need to understand, right? In second statement, that is all members of the parliament in India and legislative assemblies vote in the election of the president is incorrect, because only the elected representatives vote for the election of the president, but all members vote for the impeachment of the president. We need to understand this thing. So second statement is incorrect. First statement is correct. The right answer is option B, 2 only, right? Right, so we have discussed the polity section for this AIPMT paper, 2 GS paper, right? I believe most of the students would have been comfortable in doing the, attempting the questions. They were pretty simple. Few were conceptual, 2 were related to the contemporary schemes and policies which have been in news recently, and they are more talked about. And please start revising for the prelims and get your conceptual clarity refined, because UPSC is asking more amount of conceptual questions these days and less of factual questions, right? So good luck to all and see you next.
Hello dear students. In the history section of AIPMT second test, we are going to discuss 15 questions, question number 16 to question number 20 and question number 71 to question number 80. So let us see what these questions are. If we look at question number 16, it is saying that you have to consider the 3 statements given over here. Consider the following statements regarding later Vedic period. Now, there are 3 statements and you have to see which of the statements given above are correct. So, let us see. The word Rashtra. Rashtra indicates some kind of understanding about the notion, there is a notion of territory. So, the word Rashtra was used for the first time in later Vedic texts. This is correct. But the notion of a territorial state is not well established yet, even though this term is being used. There are terms, other terms also used like Janpad during later Vedic period, right? The ruler of the period was, ruler means the Raja or Rajan of the period was not sovereign, means he was not having sovereign authority. He was not the sole source of sovereignty, as he was elected and was answerable to the clan. So Raja or Rajan was an elected person even in later Vedic period in most of the tribes. The notion of monarchy is created during the fag end of the later Vedic period. So this statement for majority of the period stands correct. Now third statement, the changing status of the deities, means gods and goddesses, indicated change from pastoral groups to sedentary agriculturist groups. Yes, there is a change in religion over a period of time. In the Rigvedic period, the Aryans were living a nomadic pastoral life. Now they are living a more settled life with agriculture being the primary activity and pastoralism and other activities supporting it. So there is a sedentary way of life, and we see this change also indicated by religion. In the Rigvedic period, Indra and Agni were some of the prominent gods. Now they are replaced by a trinity of gods, that is Prajapati or Brahma, Vishnu and Mahesh, and Pushan, which was a god of animals or pastoralists who worshipped him, becomes the god of Shudras in later Vedic period. So that way this statement is also correct. So the answer should be D for question number 16. In question number 17, again it is a statement type question, but here two statements are given and you have to identify the correct answer by looking at the options given below. So first statement, this question is related to medieval India. Statement 1, Muhammad bin Tughlaq introduced token currency aimed to ease the strain on the state treasury. We know among several experiments conducted by Muhammad bin Tughlaq, one was that of using token currency, where due to different reasons created that created crisis in the economy, internally and externally, Muhammad bin Tughlaq saw that there was paucity or lack of silver. So he will introduce token currency where he will mint copper coins called jital, and which he asked people to take them on their face value, and therefore jital coin will be considered equal to the value of a silver coin. This experiment failed, but this is true that he introduced token currency. This statement is correct. Now statement second, the idea of token currency was borrowed. So this is not the original idea of Muhammad bin Tughlaq. He was inspired from some other source. It was borrowed from paper money issued by his contemporary Kublai Khan. He was a ruler in China. So this is also true. In a way, statement 2 is supporting statement 1. So answer should be A. Both statement 1 and statement 2 are correct, and statement 2 is the correct explanation for statement 1. Right? Now, in the 18th question, they have given you 3 terms, Uchichil, Puliyankam and Verumakai are martial art techniques related to. So they are martial art techniques related to. So there are different martial art techniques mentioned over here, and all of them are, you can say, most of them are in South India, Silambam, Kuttu Verisai and Kalaripattu. Sarit Sarak is from Northeast India, Manipur, right? So here these 3 terms are related to Kalaripattu, the most earliest martial art form known to mankind, where Uchichil is related to, you can say, oiling the body, oil massage before the fight takes place, and Puliyakkam is most probably the sword fight, where you use swords to fighters are enacting the war or war type situation by using swords. In Verumkai, the fight is more of free hand, where hands are used in the combat, right? So these are the 3 terms related to Kalariya Pattu. Now, in the 19th question, the 19th question is talking about the Satvahana period, and with reference to the Satvahana period, so Satvahanas were it was a dynasty that ruled in what you can say central India and Deccan portion in post-modern period. They were contemporaries of Shakas and Kushanas in a way, right? So during the Satvahana period, the Nigam Sabha, Nigam means council in a way. Nigam Sabha refers to the assembly that used to make proclamation of donation of lands. So Nigam Sabha has one important function, that when lands are to be donated or granted to say Buddhist monks or learned people, scholars or Brahmins, then Nigam Sabha was playing an important role during Satavahana period. This is factually correct. Second is, Deccan societies during Satavahana period, bodies like Nigam Sabha, were governed by rules laid down by the Brahminical texts. See, Brahminical text might be playing a role in that. We get some evidence about it, but exactly all the rules are laid down by Brahminical texts and they are strictly followed. That evidence is missing. So this statement is not fully correct. So answer becomes A for question number 19. Which of the statements given above is correct? We would say 1 all. Right. Now we go to the 20th question. 20th question is related to the history of modern India. So with reference to the history of India, Maria sacrifice is associated with which of the following tribal revolts? Maria means in a way to kill somebody or to sacrifice somebody. So Maria is a practice which is more of a human sacrifice practice, which the British tried to suppress as they found it inhuman, and this was prevalent in Odisha among the hilly tribes called Khons. This uprising occurred under the, what you can say, leadership of Chakra Vishnoi between 1837 to 1856. There were other reasons also due to which Khons revolted against the British, like intrusion of the outsiders like Zamindars and other people who were exploiting also them, and there was their economy and autonomy was considerably disturbed. So Maria sacrifices associated with the Khond uprisings or this tribal revolt, right? So B is the answer for question number 20. Now question number 21. Sorry, question number 16 to 20 are related to history and culture in your AIPMT-II. Now question number 71 to 80 are again related to history and culture. So now we will start discussing. In question number 71, it is related to medieval India. It is asking you, with reference to medieval India, which one of the following is the correct sequence? So we have to identify the correct sequence in ascending order in terms of size. So size of what? These appears to be what you consider names used for territorial units. Actually, when Muhammad bin Tughlaq, who ruled from 1325 to 1351, he extended his empire in Deccan in South India, and he tried to organize the administration, territorial administration, keeping the revenue collection in mind, into proper system. So there these words are used. So let us see what is the correct sequence. See, Shik was the unit equivalent to district. Hajaris means a group of 1000 villages, from it is acting as a unit from where you are going to collect revenue. And Iklim was the word used most probably for provincial units. So when it comes to Deccan during Muhammad bin Tughlaq time, an elaborate administrative arrangement was made, and the territories in Deccan, which was a vast area, was divided into 23 provinces or Iklims. So Iklim becomes the largest, what you can say, territorial unit. District or Shik becomes the second largest. Hazaris or 1000 villages. Similarly, Shad word was used for 100 villages. So that becomes the smallest unit. So D should be the answer when we arrange this in ascending order. So Hajaris is the smallest unit of land revenue collection or measurement or administration. Then comes district or Shik. Then comes Iklims or province. Right. So Hajari, Shik and Iklim is the right sequence. 71 answer is D. Now we go to the 72nd question. This kind of questions has been introduced in 2024, where 3 columns are given and you have to see whether the information provided in these columns or the rows, the 4 rows, are correctly matched or not. So the question is, consider the following information. There are 4 rows given to you. Which of the, and there are mentioned names of certain cities and towns, then presidents of what? Maybe Congress sessions, and then descriptions. So in which of the above rows is the information correctly matched? You have to see that. So Calcutta session was organized in 1906. Dadabhai Nauroji presided over the Congress sessions thrice. He also presided over this 1906 when Swadeshi movement was going on, and there the resolution regarding Swaraj or the word Swaraj was mentioned for the first time. So this is correctly matched. All the 3 columns present in this row provide you the right information. Then Bombay, Rajendra Prasad was the president, and first All India Youth Congress came into being. So this is wrong. First All India Youth Congress came into being during the Calcutta session, and that session was organized in 1928 under the leadership of Motilal Nehru. So second row is wrong. Now the third one, Lahore session presided over by Jawaharlal Nehru passed the Purna Swaraj resolution. All of us know that Purna Swaraj resolution was passed in Lahore session of 1929, and Pandit Jawaharlal Nehru was the president, so this is correct. Haripura. So back to back, Subhash Chandra Bose was the president of the Congress 1938 and 39. In 1938, the Haripura session was organized. In 1939, it was organized in Tripuri. So it was not Maulana Azad who was the president. It was Subhash Chandra Bose who was the president. He appointed the National Planning Committee and appointed Jawaharlal Nehru as its president. So this also becomes wrong. Maulana Abul Kalam Azad was the president of the Congress from 1940 to 1946, and during that period, no session of the annual session of the Congress was organized from 1941 onwards, right? So what would be the answer? In which of the above rows is the information correctly matched? We would say 1 and 3. So D is the answer for question number 72. Now we go to question number 73. Let us see what the question number 73 is saying. Question number 73 is related to ancient India. According to Kautilya's Arthashastra, consider the following statements. So be very careful when you are attempting such questions. You have to see whether the given information in these statements, there are 3 statements, is as per Kautilya's Arthashastra, whether it matches with it or not. So let us see. First, under Mauryan administration, the city council was divided into 6 subcommittees, or so this is true that we get a note, or we get to know about Pataliputra or Pataliputra being divided into that was having a city council, and the administration of the entire city was carried out by a group of 6 committees, each having 5 members. But we have to understand that this information we do not obtain from Kautilya's Arthashastra. We get to know about officers and all those things, but not about this system. This is mentioned properly in Indica, a book which was written by Megasthenes. Megasthenes came to India as the ambassador of Seleucus Nicator in the court of Chandragupta Maurya, and he left a rich account about his Mauryan times, right? So this is wrong. This is not the information we obtained from Kautilya's Arthashastra. Now, second, Samastha, Sansthan, or staying at one place, so you can say stationary. Sanchar, movement. So Samastha and Sanchar were the 2 types of spies during the Mauryan Empire. Yes, Arthashastra provides this information that there were 2 kinds of majorly 2 types of spies, Samastha and Sanchar. Samastha were the one who were living at one place and reporting the king and the officers about the different activities in that particular place, while Sanchar were people who used to move from one place to another and keep the concerned person officials informed. They are divided again into 9 types according to Kautilya's Arthashastra. Even women were used as spies, and the women also acted as the bodyguards of the king. Kautilya's Arthashastra provides that information. So statement 2 is correct according to Kautilya's Arthashastra. Third statement is there has been no mention of existence of private property. This is also wrong. Kautilya's Arthashastra mentions a word Sita, and it mentions about large landowners who engaged other people into cultivation. Sita means a piece of land which was controlled or owned by the ruler, and it was supervised by the state, and the cultivation was done by sharecroppers or people who were wage workers, right? So this is, and the head of the department of the royal land to be cultivated was Sitadhyaksh. He had some other functions also, right? So this statement is also wrong. So according to Kautilya's Arthashastra, what we would say, which of the statements given above is correct? We would say only 2. B becomes the answer for question number 73. Now, in the 74th question, I think this is related to, as the name's option suggests, it is related to modern India. So, basically arrival of Europeans. He strengthened the strategic control by introducing a permit system. A permit system for other ships and exercising control over the major shipbuilding centers in the region. He acquired Goa from the Sultan of Bijapur, and an interesting feature of his rule was the abolition of sati. So, abolition of the practice of sati. If we look at the entire paragraph and the key facts, only one name will come to your mind, and that is Alfonso de Albuquerque. When we talk about cartridge system or permit system, we might have some other names like Almeida on our mind, but Alfonso de Albuquerque is the only person who is said to be the real founder of Portuguese Empire in India, and he introduced a permit system where other ships has to report at the Portuguese headquarter Goa, which was annexed or taken away from Sultan of Bijapur by Portuguese under Albuquerque, and he also brought under control many shipbuilding centers in western coast and other areas, and he has played an important role in establishing the Portuguese, what you can say, dominance in Indian Ocean, right from Red Sea to Goa to India, Western India to Malacca Straits in Southeast Asia. And he is said to be playing an important role in, or he tried to abolish the practice of sati. So, Alfonso de Albuquerque is the right answer. Dupleix was a French governor in India of the French East India Company. They were having their headquarters in Pondicherry. Francis Caron was a French refugee who served the Dutch East India Company in Indonesia. And Francisco de Almeida was one of the predecessors of Albuquerque. He served as the governor of Portuguese possessions in India. So C is the answer for question number 74. The 75th question is asking you to consider the following organizations, the bodies which were set up. They were formed during the Swadeshi movement. Swadeshi movement existed in India as an extension of anti-Bengal partition movement from 1905 to 1908. So, the time period is there. Between that time period, these bodies were formed. National Insurance Company. When it was formed? It was formed in 1906 in December. Then Bengal Steam Navigation Company. It was formed in 1905. Then National Council of Education again 1906, but it was formed on 15th August. So that date you can always remember, right? So before I get into the answer is already given to you. Let me explain something about Bengal, these three organizations. So the National Insurance Company was established in December 1906 by two brothers, Govardhan Das and Jeevan Das. You will see that during Swadeshi movement, as the word Swadeshi indicates, there was an effort to promote or to provide alternative to British you can say goods and services through indigenous or made in India goods and services. So in that process, there are coming up many Swadeshi or indigenous ventures, whether it is in different sectors, banking, insurance, soap making, matchmaking, or what you can say, steam navigation, parallel system of education and national education will also emerge. So when we talk about the Bengal Steam Navigation Company, this was a company formed by a group of Muslim merchants. Then there was another company called Bengal Steamship Company that was formed by Jyotirindra Tagore, who was the brother of Rabindranath Tagore. Then in 1906, P. Chidambaram Pillai established Indian, what you can say, steam navigation company in South India. So you should not be confused about this because generally you study P. Chidambaram, Chidambaram Pillai, his Indian Steam Navigation Company, and you might commit a mistake. That was established in 1906. National Council of Education was created by the Indian leaders to provide an alternative system of education and govern the entire system of education from primary to secondary to technical or higher education. It was established in 1906. So the answer should be first came into existence Bengal Steam Company 2, then came into existence National Council of Education in August 1906 3, and then option 1 in December 1906 came National Insurance Company. So D becomes the answer for question number what you can say 75. Now we go to the 76th question. Again, you have got 3 rows and you have to see, you have to consider this information, and in which of the above rows is the information correctly matched. You have to find that out. So, see, let us see. Vikramshila University was founded in Bihar and it was related to Mahan sect. This is the problem. See, Vikramshila University came into existence during the rule of Pala dynasty. The Pala ruler Dharmpal was its founder, and during that period Mahan form of Buddhism has subsided, has gone down, and Vikramshila served as an important center of tantric activities, which includes Vajrayana form of Buddhism as patronized by the Palas. Along with that, logic, Vedic knowledge, all that was also imparted in Vikramshila University. So this becomes factually wrong, and therefore row 1 does not give us 100% correct information. Jagdala University, was it related to Vajrayana sect? Yes. It was also, I think, established during the or under the patronage of Pala dynasty, but it was not located in Odisha. It was located in today's North Bengal and Bangladesh region. So this also becomes factually wrong. It is not fully, the entire information is not correctly matched in all the 3 columns of the given row. Now, Vallabhi University. Vallabhi was a place, an important center of Jainism, Buddhism and trade and commerce. It was the capital of the Maitraka dynasty in Gujarat. So this is correct, Gujarat, Vallabhi University, and it was important center of Hinayan sect. So what would be the answer? D is the answer for question number 76. That is 3 only is the correct option, rest are incorrect or not fully matched. Now comes the 77th question. In this question, if you look at the options, there are mentioned different dynasties that ruled in South India. The biggest, what you can say, empire was created by Vijayanagar as far as territorial empire in South India is concerned. Territorial plus, what you can say, oceanic empire we can take into account, then Cholas created an empire in early medieval period, right? So let us see which of the following ancient dynasties is being described in the above paragraph. We have to study this paragraph and see this paragraph is most related to which of these. So this kingdom had a flourishing trade relation with the Romans, Greeks, China and Southeast Asia. So Romans and Greeks, when they were ruling, when they exists an important dynasty and they were having trade relations with India, that was in ancient period. And that information we obtained from Sangam literature and later texts where we get to know about three important dynasties, that is Pandyas, Cholas and Pallavas. So Pandavas, Cholas and Cheras. So automatically we will see that Pallavas and Vijayanagar appears to be ruled out. Now Pandya and Chola, these are the two from where your answer would be. So let us see, one of the chief items they imported was horses. They imported horses. Vijayanagar is also known to import horses, but at Vijayanagar's time, Roman and Greeks were not trading with them, and they were not, there was no Roman Empire at that point of time. So that is to be understood. So other people who imported horses in large numbers were Pandyans. Marco Polo, he is an Italian traveler or explorer who came to India, and this dynasty still existed during his time, maybe 12th, 13th century, and he wrote about that they produced extremely fine quality of the pearls. And pearl is associated directly with only one dynasty, and that is P for pearls, P for Pandyas. So Pandya is the right answer. This paragraph, when we look at the name like Marco Polo, we look at the relations with Romans, Greeks, and China, Southeast Asia, and the horses or pearls, we can associate it only with Pandyan kingdom. So A is the answer for question number 77. In the 78th question, again it is related to modern Indian history, colonial India, British rule. So with reference to judicial development in colonial India, consider the following statements. And then which of these statements, three statements are given there, given above are is correct, that we have to see. See, with reference, so we have to take into account the development of judicial aspects. So judicial aspect means judiciary as an institution or legal aspects related to it. So first, the Cornwallis Code of 1793 set the rule of separating revenue collection from administration of civil justice, which provided for a hierarchy of courts. Yes, judicial reforms were brought in by Cornwallis through this code, and he tried to separate judiciary from judicial functions from executive functions, and that was one of the motto of this code. So this is factually correct. Second, under the Governor Generalship of Lord William Bentinck, the Charter Act of 1833, by this act he became the first Governor General of India, opened judicial positions to Indians for the first time. That's true. For the first time, Indians could become to serve in judicial system, and that happened by the Charter Act of 1833. This is factually correct. The Law Commission appointed under Lord Macaulay, 1830s Law Commission was appointed. Macaulay was the law member of William Bentinck's Executive Council, codified and implemented the Indian Penal Code and the Criminal Procedure Code. So he prepared the code, but that was submitted in 1837, but it was not implemented during his time. The implementation of these codes took place after the revolt of 1857, when the British felt the need to bring judicial reforms and legal reforms and establish and tighten their control over Indians to prevent their tendency to revolt again. And there you will see will come into effect Indian Penal Code in 1860, Criminal Procedure Code in 1872, and Code of Civil Procedure in 1859, and Indian Evidence Act in 1872. So this is not fully correct statement. So for 78, the answer should be A. Which of these statements are correct? 1 and 2 only. As far as the 79th question is concerned, the 79th question is talking about the last phase of Indian national movement, that is 1940s, where efforts are being made to facilitate Gandhijina talks, and some of the important, the two major efforts were Rajgopalachari formula given by Chakravarti Rajgopalachari or Rajaji and Desai-Liaquat Pact. So with reference to Rajgopalachari formula, which was presented in 1944, to ensure cooperation between League and Congress, consider the following statements. So let us see. First, it advocated for granting India dominion status within the British Commonwealth, similar to other Commonwealth nations such as Canada and Australia. Means India will have, in a way, self-rule with overall supremacy of Britain. So this is true. This was suggested in the Rajaji formula, right? Second, it aimed at providing equal representation from Congress and League. So, there will be equal representation given to Congress and League, where in the Central Legislative Assembly or Imperial Legislative Council for an interim government and 20% reserved seats for minorities. See, this proposal was not given by C. Rajgopalachari formula. This was given by Desai-Liaquat Pact. Bholabhai Desai initiated talks. He was the leader of the Congress Legislative Party in the Imperial Legislative Council. And the deputy leader of Muslim League was this Liaquat Ali. He got in talks with him and then he gave this proposal. So this is not led to Rajgopalachari formula, and the Desai-Liaquat Pact was presented in 1945. So factually this becomes wrong statement in the context of Rajgopalachari formula. Third, it proposed a voluntary grouping of provinces based on linguistic, cultural or geographical affinities to protect the interest of minority communities. This is also in a way correct. So, as far as question number 79 is concerned, we would say statement 1 and 3 are correct. So, answer is C. As far as Rajgopalachari formula is concerned, it suggested to have a central government with defense, communication, external affairs under its control. In a way, it was talking or giving more of provincial autonomy. It wanted League to work with Congress to seek independence from British. But Jinnah rejected this formula. He was adamant on certain points, in which the most important point was that he wanted Congress to accept the two-nation theory first. He was not interested in the independence of Union. He was more interested in creation of a new state called Pakistan. Right? Now, the last question from History and Culture section for AIPMT-II. Consider the following statements regarding Jawaharlal Nehru and B.R. Ambedkar. So, we have to consider these statements and then see which of the statements given above are correct out of these two statements. So, statement 1, both Nehru and Ambedkar advocated for reservation of seats in legislative institutions for the emancipation of the depressed classes. See, Nehru believed in merit. He was not a great supporter of reservation. While Ambedkar felt that depressed classes were quite backward, they needed some extra push. That Nehru also supported, but not reservation. So here they were differing. Ambedkar talked about separate electorates for depressed classes. So this statement is wrong. Statement 2, both Nehru and Ambedkar shared similar perspectives on the separation of religion and politics. Means both supported the idea of secularism. But they debated in Constituent Assembly, the idea of secularism was discussed. But at the same time, Ambedkar felt that it should not be mentioned in the Constitution. People over time will decide by themselves what words or what practices should be introduced in the Constitution. Because secularism, if we literally take the word, it is a Western concept, and Western concept does not apply to the Indian context. That's why it was done. Later, Indira Gandhi, by the 42nd Amendment of the Constitution, introduced the two words socialism and secularism in the preamble of the Constitution. Right? So, the answer should be for question number 80, B, 2 only. So, with this, the history and culture discussion is over. Thank you so much.
Hello everyone. Thank you for writing the All India Prelims Mock Test-II. My name is Zahidul and I'm going to discuss the science and technology questions in this particular paper with you. So the questions from question number 26 to 30 were from science and technology, and also from 46 to 50 are from science and technology. So let us see these questions one by one. I'm going to take you through the questions. I'm going to help you understand the explanation also to these questions. All right. So this is first question. This is question number 26. So this question says, consider the following statements about Polaris Dawn mission. So this is a space mission, okay? This is a space mission which is Polaris Dawn mission. This mission was in news, okay? So this topic is primarily from current affairs. It is a question on science and technology, but from current affairs, okay? So they have given 3 statements and we need to identify which statements are correct, which statements are not correct. So basically when we talk about Polaris Dawn mission, right? So it was a mission that was launched by SpaceX, and SpaceX is a kind of, a private venture, right, of Elon Musk. You might all know. And SpaceX has sent, okay, the private people means like, normal people into the space. And so this was a private space walk, okay, that has happened. So related to this question is there. So first statement, it says, it is a private space mission led by SpaceX aiming to achieve the highest Earth orbit ever reached by a crewed mission. Second, the mission includes the goal of first ever spacewalk conducted by a commercial crew. Okay. So in this mission, what has happened? Private people have had a spacewalk, and this mission has achieved the highest Earth orbit ever reached by a crewed mission. A crewed mission means a mission in which human beings are also there. Third, it is fully funded by NASA. So this statement is wrong because it is a private space mission. It is not funded by the government, or it is not funded by the NASA, National Aeronautics and Space Administration. So that's why statement 1 and 2 are correct and statement 3 is incorrect. Correct answer is option A in this question. Okay. So with this, let us quickly move to the next question. This question is very much important because Government of India has recently unveiled or launched Bio E3 policy. Okay. So this Bio E3 policy is very, very important. Okay. Related to this, we will understand, let's say, some statements. We'll try to identify some correct answers. Okay. So it says, it aims to integrate biotechnology and ecological preservation with the economic growth and sustainable energy. This statement is right. It encourages the use of genetically modified organisms to boost agricultural yields and reduce environmental impact. This is also right. It specifically focuses on eliminating fossil fuels. This statement is wrong because in Bio E3 policy, they have not talked about that they are going to eliminate altogether. They are going to eliminate the fossil fuels. This is not the thing. In Bio E3 means biotechnology for economy, environment, right? And let's say like, and employment like that. So it is for economic growth, it is for generating employment, and it is largely for, let's say, like making, let's say, environmental sustainability initiatives like that. So that's why first and second statements are right, third is wrong. So how many of the above are correct? Only 2. Correct answer is option B. Which option? Option B is the correct answer. Then we will talk about question number 28. This question is also very important. It says, like this question is about central bank digital currency, CBDC. As you know that in India, the Reserve Bank of India has launched CBDC. They have launched wholesale CBDC as well as retail CBDC. So CBDC means central bank digital currency. This is going to be a currency, and for this currency, liability will totally lie on the Reserve Bank of India. Means like we will be having this currency, it will lie on Reserve Bank of India. Generally for other currencies also, the, let's say like, other fiat currency or printed currency, name of the governor is mentioned, the governor undersigns or signs that like, he takes the responsibility that this printed money will have as much importance, I mean like, like the the person who holds that money will receive the value equivalent to that money, like that. Okay, so it says it is a liability of the central banks similar to physical currency. This statement is right. It says unlike cryptocurrencies, CBDC is backed by sovereign authority of a nation. Now see, what are cryptocurrencies? You might have heard about Bitcoin, you might have heard about other cryptocurrencies, right? But when we talk about, so these cryptocurrencies are decentralized currencies. There is no central authority. But in case of CBDC, it is backed by a sovereign authority like Reserve Bank of India in case of India. In other countries, their central bank, right, is the, let's say, authority, let's say, who backs it. It says it always operates on a distributed ledger technology like blockchain. This statement is wrong. It does not always operate on distributed ledger technology. Why? Because you need to understand that some of CBDC, some of the central bank digital currencies, right, in other countries, maybe they are made using blockchain technology, but other digital currencies may be made by some other kind of technologies, not necessary that only blockchain is used. Okay, are you understanding? So that's why this always statement makes it wrong. So statement 1 and 2 are correct. It means only 2. What? Only 2. So with this, let us now quickly move to the next question, question number 29. In the context of a recent development and applications of artificial insemination, right, in India. So basically this question is related to artificial insemination. What do we mean by artificial insemination? It means impregnating an animal, right, using artificial methods, right? So this is generally used by veterinary doctors. Okay, veterinary doctors generally do it, right? So here we are talking about, let's say, like, like impregnating an animal, right, using artificial methods, using artificial means. And they have given some statements related to it. Number 1, it says the Rashtriya Gokul mission focuses on AI to improve the productivity of the indigenous cattle breeds. This statement is right. Second, AI means artificial insemination. It is not artificial intelligence, right? Remember this, okay? Here we are talking about artificial insemination. So artificial insemination technology in India has expanded to include cryopreservation of semen for use in remote rural areas. This statement is right. Okay. It says, third statement, AI is mainly used for selective breeding in small animals. This statement is wrong. It is generally used for, let's say, wide stage, let's say, breeding for large animals like goats, buffaloes, etc. Okay, large animals. So this is third statement is wrong. Correct answer is statement 1 and 2. All right. So with this, now let us quickly move to the next question. Question number 30. We are going to discuss about this question with respect to data-based policy making. Here, see, here this question is focusing on data-based policy making. Means like nowadays, the government agencies, right, government sector, they're making policy by considering various factors, and these factors are backed by data. That, like, what is the composition of population, like how many or like what proportion of the population is malnourished, etc. So basically data-based policy making, right? This question is based on that. So they have given 3 statements. Data-based policy making enables government to make real-time decisions by leveraging large data sets and analytical tools. This statement is right. India's CoWIN platform is an example of data-driven policy making, okay, as it was used to track vaccination progress and manage vaccine distribution. Second statement is also right. Third, data-based health policies can compromise patient confidentiality. So here now let us understand CoWIN. All of you might have heard about it during COVID-19. So CoWIN was a kind of platform where everyone who is vaccinated, anyone who wants to get vaccinated, they can register in CoWIN portal to book a slot in the nearby vaccination center, and let's say certificates were issued. Lot of things, technical things were done during using this platform, right? But third says that like since we are making policies using data, so it says like it can compromise patient confidentiality. This is wrong, because when we are making policy based on data, we are not taking, let's say like, we are not using the personally identifiable information of the patient, right, in the data, in the policy itself, or we are not disseminating it, right? So only some data are used, that this is the proportion of population that was affected by COVID-19, or this is the proportion of population that is malnourished, this is the proportion of the population that is, undernourished, etc., okay, or remains hungry. So here patient confidentiality are not, let's say, compromised, okay. So because personally identifiable information are themselves not being shared, right, in these policies. So that's why first and second statements are right. Correct answer is option B. Option B is the right answer. Now let us move to the next question. It says, this question is about Vigyan Dhara scheme. Okay, Vigyan Dhara scheme. So they have given some statements related to this scheme. It says it is an initiative launched to promote scientific temperament among school students in India. This statement is right. Government of India has come up with this particular scheme so that, let's say like, students who are going to schools, right, students who are going to different educational institutions, they are basically sensitized, they are made aware about technological innovation, so that like, they take science as a career, so that like, they think rationally, they think critically, they think about, let's say like, what changes are needed, right, what innovations are needed. So that's why Vigyan Dhara scheme has been launched. This scheme focuses on supporting research projects at the postgraduate and doctoral levels in the, so this is not for doctoral or postgraduate students, it is for school going students. Third, under this scheme, mentorship programs are organized to encourage innovation and creativity among young students. So statements 1 and 3 are correct. Which statements? 1 and 3 are correct. Correct answer is this. Okay. So with this, let us now quickly move to the next question. Question number 47. Okay, let us move to this question. It says, with reference to digital payments in India, consider the following statements. Okay, so we have two statements. They are related to digital payments. Unified payment interface allows interoperability between different banks, enabling instant fund transfers. This statement is right. For example, if you have a bank account in State Bank of India, and if you want to transfer money to your friend or to your relative who may be having a bank account in ICICI Bank or Punjab National Bank or HDFC Bank or any other bank, you can instantly do it. Means like you can transfer your money from one bank account to another bank account instantly. This is unified payment interface. This is, let's say, this is allowed or enabled by unified payment interface. So this statement is right. Second, it says near field communication technology is required for all forms of digital wallet transaction. This is wrong. In some form of digital wallet transaction, near field communication technology is required, but it is not required for all forms of, digital wallet transactions. Okay. Many digital wallet transactions are enabled by internet. Okay. So there near field communication technology is not needed. So that's why option A is correct in this case. Okay. Only first statement is right. Second statement is not right. So with this, let us now move to the next question. Okay, question number 48. So it says, consider the following statements regarding the role of space biotechnology in India's space missions. Okay, space biotechnology in India's space missions. So we have three statements. Now these statements are based on space biotechnology. Recently this topic was in news. Why? Because on one side the Indian Space Research Organization and Department of Space, right, were there, and then on the other side there was Department of Biotechnology. So these three basically bodies have signed memorandum of understanding. So they have signed MOU to enable research and development in space biotechnology in India. All right. So related to that, they have asked these statements. Number one, space biotechnology research aims to study the impact of microgravity on human health. This statement is right. Okay. So in space biotechnology, let's say impact of microgravity on human health is studied. Okay. As of now, we are planning to send human beings into this space, right? We are planning for Gaganyaan mission. We are also planning for, let's say, Bharatiya like Antariksh Station or Indian Space Station. So that's why we need to understand about what is the impact on human health, right? What is the impact of microgravity on human health, right? So that's why first statement is right. Second statement says the Department of Biotechnology collaborates with ISRO to develop life support systems that recycle water and air for prolonged space missions. Okay. So this is the right thing, means like on one side there was Department of Biotechnology, on the other side it was ISRO. Okay, and Department of Space is also there. Okay. So third, space biotechnology has enabled the development of genetically modified crops. This has not happened yet. So correct answer is option A, 1 and 2 only. Okay, option A is statement 1 and 2 only. Now we have another question number 49. It says, with reference to air quality index in India, consider the following statements. Okay, air quality index. We have three statements. It says air quality index categorizes air quality into 6 different levels based on pollutant concentration. This statement is right. So later on, modified air quality index also came, okay, or graded response action plan, modified graded response action plan was, let's say, taken. So that categorizes it into 4 types, but air quality index categorizes air quality into 6 different labels, okay, levels. Second, particulate matter 2.5. This is one of the, let's say, pollutant that has significant health impact. Okay, this statement is also right. It is included as a key parameter in calculating the AQI or air quality index due to its significant health impacts. Third statement, in India, air quality index values are measured only in metropolitan cities with high pollution levels. This statement, is incorrect because it is calculated across India, but in some cities, let's say in major metropolitan cities it is there, but in many cities it is not there. Okay, so this is question number 49, air quality index. Air quality index extends beyond metropolitan cities to cover many small cities also. Okay, so that's why this is wrong. So first and second statement are correct, means option C is the right answer in this case. Okay, option C is the right answer. Now let us move to this question. Question number 50. Regarding technological and strategic aspects of Gaganyaan mission. Okay, this is Gaganyaan mission. We discussed recently that India is planning to send human beings into this space, right? So this is, we are planning to have Gaganyaan mission. It says the mission will use GSLV Mark III rocket modified to ensure additional safety for human spaceflight. This statement is right. It involves collaboration with international agencies such as NASA for the development of a life support system. Okay, so in Gaganyaan mission, we have not, let's say, collaborated with NASA. We have to some extent collaborated with Roscosmos, Russian Space Agency, for training of our astronauts, but we have not collaborated with NASA related to this. It aims to make India the 4th country in the world to independently launch a crewed space mission. Okay, so this is question number 50. This is the last question. So this statement is right. Okay, correct answer is this is option B. Okay, so this is related to Gaganyaan mission. Gaganyaan is a human space flight mission. India is planning to send human beings into this space. So a lot of preparation are happening, a lot of testing is being conducted, astronauts are being trained, right? So the Indian Space Research Organization is totally involved in this particular mission, okay? So that's all from my side. So after this, let's say there will be discussion by another faculty to cover other areas also. So thank you so much everyone for attending this part of the discussion. I hope you have a good day ahead. Thank you.